Hey, what's up? It's Dominic D'Angelo of Studio1Sports.com, SCScoops.com, and Podcast Heat Wrestling. I'm here with Mr. Robert Karpolis. Robert, how are you? Happy Monday. Thanks for joining.
Happy Monday. I'm trying to figure out how to share this damn thing.
I know, right?
It's why they made this so incredibly difficult. I will never know. So
I blame Elon.
don't blame Elon. He seems like a totally normal sociopath. Grand. Oh, it makes me do a whole thing. Sorry, this is fascinating audio.
Isn't it? Right? We'll say hi to some folks in the chat while you.
Please say hi. Yeah, thank you. Let's pretend there's two of us hosting this show.
Maddie Marijuana shows on up. RVD TV regular. Thanks for joining, Maddie. What's happening? We got Wrestling Old Head in the house too. Good day, R&I peeps. Didn't know what to do for my lunch on a Friday with no R&I. We had lunch. We had R&I on a Friday.
We did that again. The way that this is all configured and screwed up here. The best way, if you want to consistently find us, while we are streaming on my X account now and it's up and posted, is on the YouTube. If you go to Podcast Heat or Studio One, go to Studio One Sports. Let's support Dom's other endeavor here. We're there. We're available and around. The challenge we run into is that X redid their whole configuration of nonsense.
And nonsense it is too, for sure.
It's insane. It's insane where we are.
Michael Watson says I nailed the intro. If you say by damn it, Dom, I nailed the intro. Yes, that's correct. I did then. Dre Owen says hello, R&I. Family Guy starting off hot this season. I have not watched Family Guy in years. Also, Grand Slam was a little too predictable.
Really? I dug the hell out of Grand Slam, but that's probably because it was predictable in the best kind of way possible. There's so much to talk about. I'm sorry. I'm back. I'm here. It's posted. It's on the X. People are able to stream and watch and do. And
yes. Well, Robert, let's get your thoughts. I was gonna hit SmackDown first, but let's go Grand Slam.
I just pulled up my SmackDown notes.
Okay. Well, then let's do SmackDown.
Right, we'll do SmackDown and then the Grand Slam. So, the 3-hour SmackDowns have generally been pretty solid. I've found the shows have flowed pretty well. You are so close on that screen. It is terrifying. It's
Sorry, I was also looking at X to make sure I was live.
Between that and the thing, it's like I'm at the dentist office. You're like hovering over me with the schmata on your head, and I'm just like, oh no, do I have a cavity? I think that the idea of a number of big matches, a number of stories that they're trying to interweave and make sense going forward. When the top, Mania is a mess. Can we admit this?
Yes, absolutely we can.
It's insane that we're in a situation where these booking decisions are arbitrary. They're bizarre. There's nothing particularly captivating or exciting going into WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. And you're seeing that with the women's division on SmackDown. That Jordynne Grace wrestled Jade Cargill. Jade beat Jordan. And then she faces off with Liv Morgan. No one's excited to see Jade Cargill versus Liv Morgan. On the Raw side, no one's necessarily excited storyline-wise to see Liv Morgan versus Stephanie Vaquer. Do I think the match would be good? Yeah. Do I think that's a main event of Mania? No.
I agree with you on that one. I do think they could steal the show in certain ways, though. Even if it's not a main event, like I think people would be like, "Man, did you see that Liv Morgan Stephanie Vaquer match?" But that one in particular, I say. But but I'm with you on that too. They have a really diligence on
it. It could be a fun match, and then the main event: Sami Zayn, Cody Rhodes, Jacob Fatu. Booking wise, on paper, get what we're doing. This further telegraphs what I've been saying, that Sami's going to wind up turning heel. Him apologizing to Phoenix for seeming kind of disconnected from what was going on and saying, "Hey, I'm going to try to win this. I got this." Drew saying, "You're my pick. You're my guy," and being earnest about it, and then interfering to try to make Sami win to highlight that Sami's kind of the goof of the three, and Sami still loses. If this dude ain't turning heel, what are we doing, Dom?
I'm with you on that one. You gotta, and I think it's the right move to do. Honestly, is like I love Sami as a baby face, but it's ran its course, and like he can be a really, as we've known, a great obnoxious heel too. That I think maybe we'll get a new version of him too as a heel, which I'd be interesting to see too.
I also found, and this is the first time I've really seen this because I'm a big Jacob Fatu guy. I think the world of Jacob Fatu. He seemed he was a step off on SmackDown.
Yeah, I mean, when you're going at a clip that he usually goes at and having great matches, and he's just such a presence, you'll notice when he's off a little bit for sure.
It just, that whole match felt kind of eh. And because you don't have who to root for, who to root against, the audience's default is kind of silence. Like, I don't know if I'm a fan watching SmackDown, and I say this because I can't not view it as being part of the creative team and
Sure.
trying to figure out what they're doing. But it's just like, as just a regular fan who's tuning in and watching this, who in that main event am I supposed to be rooting for? I
Yeah.
get we're supposed to be rooting against Drew. Drew is a bad guy no matter what, no matter who he's dealing with. But he looked impressive as hell, power bombing Jacob Fatu through that table. Him taking out Cody was kind of a fun moment because I feel like the crowd is slowly turning on Cody. The Raheem stuff notwithstanding, that's its own world of insanity.
I'm confused by all that.
And
That's
Sammy swung and missed at Royal Rumble. He
Mhm.
had all the momentum. He had the sort of the home field advantage, for lack of a better term, and he failed. So, who is your knight in shining armor over on SmackDown as the guy who's going to be able to main event Mania and win in a chamber where it's LA Knight, Randy Orton, and Cody Rhodes?
Well, let me ask you this, Robert. If they're turning Sammy heel and like the fans are kind of indicating that, they might be turning on Cody, does it make any sense to turn Cody then at this point?
That's
And
the
that's
other big
that's not just
challenge.
from a that's not just from a storytelling standpoint, but I also mean from like the marketing and promotional standpoint too.
Well, I think that the only reason to have turned Cody heel would have been if you were doing Cody versus Roman to give it a separate feel from what we've seen in the past. The
Mhm.
idea of Cody was always told, be careful what you wish for when you win the title. He does win the title, he gets that spot. And all the things that have happened to him over the last few years, it makes sense that he would evolve as a character and the audience would evolve. Right now, Wrestling Oilhead kind of gets the point I was going to get to is I don't think they turn Cody unless they have a successor. The
Yeah.
successor, in theory, could, in the immediacy, be Jacob Fatu, who's sort of the outlaw rebel guy who's going after him. But then it's, what do you do with Drew if Cody's a heel? Honestly, there's a world where you could turn Drew babyface. He's
Oh, 100%.
so charismatic.
Yes. He's always like that's the thing too is he's great at playing the heel and leaning into it and like eliciting that heat, but like he could turn that on a dime, I think, and make it make sense in a lot of ways. And then he's just somebody that you like and kind of get behind. Might not be a bad thing to have almost like a double. I mean, I guess it wouldn't be a double turn because Fatu's technically a baby face. But if you did turn Cody heel and he really like unleashed on Fatu, and then you had almost Drew kind of have a an epiphany about everything and kind of defend Fatu, that's a kind of a good way to do it, where he's the mediator in it all. I would
I
like that.
mean, look, the reality of it is post Mania, especially when you get into May, June, July,
Hmm.
your a lot of your audience is not necessarily paying full attention.
Yeah,
So they're kind of somewhere else. So you can experiment a little bit. You can toy with who may or may not be able to step into that spot, into that role. You can always do a draft to reset the table if you really desperately needed to. I think
definitely.
there are some interesting big names that are floating around. Look, I thought Carmelo Hayes' promo on SmackDown was pretty strong.
I didn't catch that. What? How was that? Like,
It was him declaring that he's going for the chamber and he wants to have 2 championships and that he's out there having banger after banger every week. And it felt like, a dude auditioning a little bit. I think Trick
yeah.
Williams is great as a heel, but that audience loves him.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And if you did need to heat somebody up, you could theoretically throw Trick Williams in there.
You could say we could talk about it. That's for sure.
Is that a thing? Oh,
Let's
I know. He just says the lemon pepper stepper thing,
let me
which
say. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
okay. Well, we've talked about it, Dom.
We did.
I also thought that the Obafemi Kit Wilson was a star of this damn show with the poems, and then the Obafemi piece. I continue to be impressed with what they're doing with Obafemi.
Yeah, yeah. It's of course correct after the War Raiders attack. A little
A
bit.
little bit.
Yeah. Any other takeaways before we go over to Grand Slam? Australia, mate?
Uh, no, I mean, solid 3 hour show. Curious to see where they're going to go, and we got to pay attention to, or at least pretend to pay attention to Elimination Chamber. But Collision was, as someone said, it was predictable, but it was predictable in all of the good ways that you want AEW to be predictable, because you do need reliable programming that the audience can easily understand and digest while still giving them quality wrestling.
Okay, so I guess I'm not surprised, but like I am kind of I don't know. I wasn't like that as much into it, I think predictability does make sense and I see where you're coming from. But what made it really, do you think they set things up for further down the road that makes a lot of sense in regards to, them building as the year goes on?
I do in a number of ways. I think the Moxley Takeshita match opening the show highlights that these guys are both technically on the heel ledger, but when
Yes.
they are finally turned, like Takeshita is going to be a big star for them as a babyface.
Yeah. Yeah.
He works so crisp in the ring. He's very physical. He's not afraid to mix it up with a guy like John Moxley. The audience bought every one of those near falls towards the end. They wanted to see Takeshita win, and this is with him being a member of the Don Callis family. So the idea in 2026 of Takeshita ultimately getting Batista or Randy Orton out of Evolution, and then you set up Takeshita versus Okada later on down the year, that's a big match. That's a great story. That's a great payoff. So for me, I felt like this was Takeshita showing he can hang with the main event guy and have a main event style match. Moxley selling that he was angry about the time limit, calling the audible to have Takeshita hit him with his finisher after was a
Hmm.
nice little touch of I can read what this crowd wants. And this iteration of Moxley, as dumb as it is, as horrible as it is in terms of storyline and storytelling and everything that they've built, fans like this dude.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think he's got that connection, and I think he's always kind of had that good baby face connection with the fans, and like so, like if they were doing this heel turn, like if you look back on it, hindsight's 2020 and stuff, but like they could have made it work, but they didn't make it work, and I just don't think it really helped matters for the Death Riders or Moxley in general. So we're getting to see him back in a role that's a little bit more appropriate for him. I like it, and yeah, this was my favorite match of the show. I think was this time limit draw match.
It was a great old school time limit draw match. It elevated both guys and it made you want to see them wrestle again and then see what happens next.
Mhm.
So pretty interesting about that. Babes of Wrath versus Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford. It was a tag match, obviously hometown. Or home country with Harley Cameron. The debut of Lena Cross after. I know she was on a match once before,
Yeah.
but the moment where she stares at Megan Bayne and she looks taller than Megan Bayne, I was like, all right, that's an interesting decision.
Hmm. Yeah, were you okay with them just throwing her out there? Like nobody was familiar with Lena Cross, like aside from Excalibur reminding us about it. But like you have to go back to one match like a year ago. It felt like a little bit of a head scratcher to me. I get what they're doing, but also why do that at that point? Maybe do it on Dynamite instead. I don't know.
Perhaps, but big and tall,
Hmm.
impressive looking. Now a third member of this group.
Yeah,
Maybe I would have had. And they went and they to be fair, they gave the audience a clean finish, and then she appeared.
true.
And they pinned Penelope Ford because you can pin Penelope Ford, and who cares? But if you put Lena Cross with Megan Bayne, that's a kind of a wrecking crew for the tag titles. That's an interesting piece right there.
Yes, I agree with you on that one. Yeah.
So from that end, hey, we got something. We'll
Hmm.
see. Hangman and Andrade,
Hmm.
they went for it. They gave that crowd a pay-per-view quality match.
Hmm. I liked it too. And I'm like Hangman versus MJF. It's not really But I mean,
We'll get to Hangman MJF. I'm
okay,
just saying for this particular match, the idea that you have Andrade with obviously the plants in the crowd taking the pictures with him, and then Hangman doing it, crowd liked that moment. They were like, it's cheesy, it's stupid, but they liked it. The fact that Don Callis's interference wound up costing Andrade the match, so it wasn't just Hangman beating Andrade clean; it was Hangman doing the low blow, getting the pin in the "I will do whatever it takes to get my title back." It worked. It's not blow your hair away kind of moment, or what we have left of hair, but it was at least, hey, something happened.
yeah, yeah. No, and I know we're getting to Hangman versus MJF, but I'm okay with that aspect of it. I think from what you were saying too, it just makes sense, predictable. I think.
It's there's predictable and then there's logical.
Hmm.
And when something is logical, because if the idea was Andrade won, we would have been looking at a heel match next month on pay-per-view.
Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
That ain't doing anybody any favors.
Right.
Tony Storm and Orange Cassidy versus Wheeler Yuta and Marina Shafir. It was a let me up match, which is something AEW has been guilty of not doing.
Yeah.
It gave you a little something different. I don't know how, and maybe it's just like being an old school fan. Like the intergender stuff to me, it's still jarring to see some of that.
A little bit, yeah, yeah. Especially if it's a tornado thing, I'm more okay if it's just straight up like you tag in and then you have to tag out the other gender and stuff, and then they go at it. It's just like I'm more for that kind of formula because that kind of does make it a little bit more fun, I think, and understandable. When you're having a tornado and they're all mixing it up, it just makes it a little bit, I don't know, out there, unbelievable a little bit.
It's a little too physical.
Hmm.
For me, I get that obviously a suspension of disbelief, and that's fine, and yada yada yada, and all that. But it's like when like Tessa Blanchard would take on Brian Cage,
Hmm.
or that Chelsea Penta match from Lucha Underground.
Oh
I,
yeah. Hmm.
it doesn't work for me in the same way I don't like when they use like glass
Same,
or
same.
it's. But I'm not gonna. What's the stupid phrase kids say now? Hold on, I'm not gonna yuck someone's yum.
Oh, I don't know that one.
I
I
hate
thought you were
that
gonna say
phrase.
I'm not gonna crash out on it. The kids say that too, apparently.
Dude, I don't know. But Yuta getting his head shaved, having done those sorts of gimmick matches, I knew it was like this is not a quick. You're not going to be able to quickly shave his head. You're not going to effectively get that moment, and it's going to take a while, and it's going to be awkward. And it was, but I liked Moxley forcing Yuta to have to go do it. It was a nice like dad moment.
Yeah.
Hey, you
There
gotta
you
live
go.
up to your word. You're part of the Death Riders. We're honorable. I mean, we did murder Darby like a week ago.
Choked Daniel Bryan with a plastic bag.
Brian Danielson.
Ryan is.
Main event: Brody King and MJF. I like both these guys quite a bit.
Hmm.
They went a different way with this match.
They did.
Fair to say. This was an old school. We're gonna work a hold. We're gonna work a body part. We're gonna Nick Bockwinkel the hell out of this.
Wow.
Yeah, that was what we got here. A lot of we're going to work the knee, we're going to work the leg. Bandito was there for so long that I kept thinking, like, is he turning? Like, why the hell was he there for the entire match? And they just kept cutting to him. And the reason why I point this out as being confusing is if you have someone who's on the outside of the ring and they're supporting you, you need to be able to see their face to understand what's going on. They
Right.
just keep cutting to an expressionless mask.
Look at him. What's he thinking in there?
Doesn't work. I know he's doing gesticulations and hand gestures, and I know his hand is injured, so he's got to. But it's just like a lot of like, look at the concern on Bandito's mask. Doesn't make a lot of sense.
No.
That being said, Max getting the look. Max sold like crazy for Brody. He
Hmm.
sold the sleeper, like the way he just drops dead so
It's
quickly.
great.
Oh,
Yeah.
we forgot about the Fletcher Mark Briscoe match. Sorry about that.
Oh, yes. Touch upon that. I have my thoughts on that, but go ahead.
How is this dude not a babyface?
Yeah.
He wins the title back clean for his countrymen.
Hmm.
He gets confronted with a challenge that he doesn't have to accept. Not only does he accept it, he accepts it with a stipulation where he can't cheat to keep his title.
Hmm.
He then beats that dude in that dude's specialty match that he himself picked.
let's not forget, he also told his friend to not interfere again in that match
Told
as well.
people not to interfere, wins clean.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Dirty heel.
Dirty heel. And
Again,
also,
Fletcher's another one who, like, he's going to be a major force in AEW. He's going to be a top baby face in this company. He has such a punchable face that you want him to be a heel.
he's got the Biff face, you know?
He does have a little bit of Biff face to him.
Mm-hmm.
Canon, not Death of a Salesman.
Yes, correct. Let me say this too. Lots of spots in this match. Ladders been used like as Legos, basically, in a lot of ways. I did like the brainbuster off the top of ladder. It looked safe, relatively safe for what it was. But then you don't finish the match with that. There's more to go. And I think it just, in a way, this overstayed its welcome. And I know this is kind of old men yelling at the cloud in a way, but at the same time, you're diminishing what your abilities are in the ring as a wrestler, as a top baby face, or quote unquote top baby face with Kyle Fletcher, when you do these moves and they don't necessarily work. And I don't think for the long term of him is necessarily good. Am I being too analytical on that, Robert, or does that make more sense?
It's how you interpret it, and you're allowed to. I think that's part of it. But at no point we're coming away from the match or the show talking about an overly dangerous spot,
True.
a use of a weapon that didn't make any sense, too much blood, too many illogical booking decisions. Like Max beat Brody King in the main event,
Mm-hmm.
barely survives in part because he went after the knee.
Yep.
And Brody showed on Dynamite, like, you give me a minute, I'm going to beat you. Max kicked out of Brody's finisher. First guy to do that. So Max seems tougher than he did before. He tried to cheat. It got thwarted a couple different times. And in the end, he wins. And now he's got to try to duck Hangman. And now he gets to call Hangman out for winning this title opportunity by cheating.
Yes.
And hey, I thought, you're supposed to be the good old cowboy and the man of virtue and honor. And look what you did.
How would you handle Hangman in this feud building up? Like we talked about how kind of stale he was as a champion and how ineffective. Like, they built him up and built him up. And then when he got it, it just was underwhelming. So obviously, I don't think he's going to beat MJF. But in building to this feud, how do you make Hangman feel important in like main event?
People see things in Hangman I don't. I know that the Wrestling Observer Awards, which we're not getting into because my blood pressure can't take it this late in the day, people loved what Hangman was doing. I thought Hangman was it's very boring for me. I don't enjoy it. I don't find his character particularly interesting. He's good in the ring. His promos are fairly generic. He's just a guy.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Maybe this is an opportunity to evolve the Hangman character a little bit. Maybe they have something teed up, whether there's a guy returning, a guy coming after him. There has to be some reason they're doing this Kenny Omega Swerve stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it does feel like we're building to get to Kenny versus MJF, and then eventually MJF versus Ospreay.
Yeah.
And then it's, Hangman, just the guy floating there waiting for a chance. I don't know. I don't know what they envision. Hopefully it doesn't involve burning somebody's house down.
What do you think about the aspect too? Kenny versus Swerve on Dynamite I was shocked. I was like, isn't that a Revolution match?
It feels like it'd be a Revolution match, but clearly they have they have some story in place. And I think the fact that Kenny is obviously now friends with Hangman again, and Swerve is kind of getting along with Hangman again, they're kind of reshuffling the deck. And there are so many people who are sort of missing right now, with Joe, I guess, being hurt. Is he injured?
I think that's what I heard.
I think he's out and injured, so they're a little bit of scramble mode with Joe. We have not really seen a ton of Okada in the last couple weeks.
Yep.
Or him doing anything of any sort of meaningful consequence. Obviously, Lashley being away and the focus that was put on the Hurt Syndicate, and them just kind of pulling back into the ether. Moxley being the Continental Champion and not going after the world title. You have to hope they're mapping this out, that they're going to step in, that they're going to learn from their mistakes, and that they're going to learn from WWE's current mistakes. and try to map things out going forward. Meanwhile, WWE tonight on Raw, we've got stuff.
Got stuff happening. Let me take a look here. We have. Well, do you know where it is, Robert? First of all,
I don't know where Raw is tonight.
they're in Memphis, my friend.
Oh, well, a lot of stalling.
A lot of stalling. Yes, yes.
A lot of stalling and a lot of Mark Cohn. A lot of walking in Memphis.
Walking in Memphis. We have AJ Lee. She's set to appear live. Confronting Becky Lynch, probably.
Well, yeah, obviously. I mean, she's going to go there to give her hot take on the NBA All-Star game?
Maybe. We have Gunther in a men's elimination chamber qualifying match. He's going up against Javon Evans and Dominic Mysterio, who also has my name.
Guy.
Yeah.
Poor Gunther. Yeah, oh no. I just try to think of like worst case scenario.
What's worst case scenario in this? Give it to me.
Gunther,
yes,
who in one world was almost going to be challenging for the world title, main eventing.
Yes.
He'll be in the elimination chamber. He'll get taken out by an RKO, and we'll get Randy Orton versus Gunther at Mania, with him trying to retire Randy Orton.
I think that's what we're getting, Robert. Worst case scenario for it? I don't think it's terrible, but
Worst case scenario is LA Knight Brock Lesnar. That's still, I love that that's floating out there. I don't know what monkey's paw they're using. Man, Wrestling All Head suggests Gunther versus Ray. That was kind of where I thought this Dragon Lee story was going.
Mm-hmm.
But if anyone's retiring Ray, it's going to be Dom.
Yeah. And, I don't know. Like, I think it's intriguing. I think you could tell, maybe tease it a little bit. But, yeah, maybe Dom ends up saving his dad or something happened. I don't know. Something you could do.
He's not going to save his father. Interesting match. We'll see how it goes.
We also have another one. It's an Elimination Chambers qualifying match. It's Natty, as she's now known as, Asuka taking on Bayley as well in this. Who gets this one? Asuka. Yeah.
Asuka. Yeah, because you've got Charlotte, you've got Tiffany, and the third is. Oh no, sorry, it's Tiffany, Alexa, and who's the other? Rhea. You need a heel, so you need Asuka in there.
Yeah, that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Well, that's what they have lined up for us here tonight, Robert.
So you can have, then you can have Maxine come out, interfere, attack Natty. It's a three-way, whatever. Bayley, loses to Asuka. Maybe Lyra tries to come out and save her, and Kyrie, and then you're furthering all of them being in a big tag match at Mania, which is I keep trying to predict. But, predicting this Mania has turned into a fool's errand because none of this makes a damn lick of sense. This Punk Roman match, the more that I think about it, the more that I realize it is awful. It's
really
dumb. It's the worst.
I love it. I still like it a lot, Robert. I don't know. I
got 30 seconds on it, so I'm going to do the 30 seconds and then go. Here's why it's bothering me.
Okay.
It was clearly not the plan. It wasn't even the backup plan. It wasn't even the backup plan. This was a knee-jerk, let's put two big names on a poster. When you do that going into Mania, you immediately think of the Rock John Cena main event, which was a total, we're going to erase everything going on in storyline mode and just give you this kind of one-off thing. There is no compelling narrative for these guys within WWE kayfabe world. That the fact that they real life hate each other is the story. I hate that going into the main event of WrestleMania. That's not a compelling main event of Mania. You got to be able to tell an elevator pitch of what the story is. Further, there is no compelling outcome for the audience. Because if Roman wins, we're not getting the return of Roman Reigns as a week in, week out performer who's going to be defending his title. And guess what? Roman Reigns of 2017 is back. True. So that ain't going to happen. If Punk wins, we already have old man Logan CM Punk defending his title every single week. So there's not going to be anything different or exciting the day after. When you have these sort of cold matches where it's the guy wins the Rumble and he's going after the champion. Think Steve Austin going after Shawn Michaels. At least it was, you want to see the top heel lose to an undeniable new star. Mm-hmm. This is old guy attraction part-timer match, which is what Punk always rallied against, and it's what we're getting. I don't know. But what I do know is we will be back tomorrow, as we are every Monday through Friday at noon Eastern on a plethora of platforms, including the WW Creative _ ISH X account, the at Dominic D'Angelo X account, the at SE Scoops X account, and on YouTube on Podcast Heat and Studio One Sports. What a day! What a week! What a President's Day!
Oh yes.
So on behalf of the Jack Tunney in my life, Dominic D'Angelo, I'm Robert Karpolis. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
Yes. Jack Tunney for life.